Hey, Scar Night Sound. This is Rodney G. Thank you for being with me. And hopefully, this gets out a little earlier today. Uh, let's get right into it today. So, in our meet, in our, I don't know what that noise was, but I think I was choking on a word. So, anyway, the grief for the old me is the next episode. Grief for the old me. And I was like, well, let me think about this a little bit. Let me think about it. And so it's kind of relating to some of the prior episodes, but it's kind of like a little deeper into really thinking about what I lost back, like now to then. For instance, like I lost my physical self, my professional self, my emotional self, kind of like the last episode a little bit. Um, but it's a little more of just having that time to grieve for the things I've lost. And because we always spend so much focus on, and there's nothing wrong with it, about the things that, we have. But there's sometimes we catch ourselves going back into, I wish I was this. I wish I could do this. I wish that I didn't have to do this. Like, and this is going to sound probably really minor in a lot of ways, but in other ways, it was just really a joy that um, um, enjoyed, but more of a experience because it took a long time for me to do this. But once I did it, I really enjoyed it, and there's an art to it and a beauty in it, and for many, a delicacy in it. So when you get your transplant, you no longer can eat sushi. You cannot have sushimi. You can't eat the raw fish. One, probably because it should really fear within everybody else is the parasites, but not even the parasites, just the bacteria within itself. For people who are immune suppressed, because we can't fight off the things that you would fight off if you don't have a transplant or if you're not on immune suppressants. So, for instance, and I've been really lucky with colds. So there's been people worse than I have been with the flu and things like that. Um, but in theory, the thought is if you get a cold, you'll fight it off faster. So if you eat that sushi, and not even talking about like the 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 whatever parasite, whatever that just takes you out. Not talking about that. And it's not a. And from what I understand of like it's pretty rare for the parasite. We're talking about normal bacteria. Maybe it was left out. Somebody maybe touched something, cross contamination, something like that. Whereas you might get a stomach ache or something and not feel well. If I get it, it may land me in the hospital and start having some effects on my donor kidney, not to mention whatever else within the body. So it's always a little more extreme, uh, at least thinking about it from uh, just a precaution to take care of yourself if you take immune suppressants because you don't want to experience the extreme cases, right? Kind of like COVID, when COVID was in the thick of things, uh, they would say if you're immune suppressed, really be careful, stay sheltered, put your mask on, um, which we're supposed to have our mask on most of the times in large public areas anyway, movie theaters, malls, things like that. But however, COVID was a different beast. And some of those people whatever the reason was, did not make it through. However, those of us who were immune suppressed, it was a good percentage that you would not make it out of the hospital if you was going into the hospital and being put in a coma. So that's just kind of that reality for us. And so sushi was the thing that I enjoyed a lot. And like I said, it probably sounds silly, but there was kind of a morning of people, hey, let's go get sushi. I can't eat sushi like you can. I have to eat it cooked, which is not very fun sushi for me. A cooked sushi is not fun sushi. I like to, taste that the fish with the sauce and all that and enjoy it. So just something like that. And I'm not going to really reflect on all the other things because that's been taken care of in the previous show, with the emotional and the professional and the physical selves. But this is something you might have not have known. Whoa, hold on, let me slow down. Because I like to eat, right? So, and one of my favorite things is a buffet. And my buddy, well, we used to go to the gym. And then after we went to the gym, like, it was often that we would go to the Chinese buffet and we would have a beautiful moment in the Chinese buffet. And we enjoyed it so much that the waitress would know us and had our seat when we got there. Now that's some real love, right? And then we would go and fill up on protein and carbohydrates to replenish our bodies after our intense workouts with about 3 plates of buffet food. That's right. Not to mention the sodium, too. And now I'm technically not supposed to eat at buffets. And to be completely transparent, that's my favorite one. Completely transparent. I have indulged in a buffet or 5 in I don't know how many years. But I really don't go often though. We actually have one not too far from us, and every time we see it, I just kind of think about it. But right now we're trying to be more health conscious. But they have vegetables there, and they have chicken there, and we're trying to do a little more of like combining vegan too. So they have tofu. So it's actually a perfectly good place to go eat if I wouldn't happen to take something and die. Sometimes I take a risk. I'm not promoting risk. I'm just saying. Sometimes I take a risk. And I enjoy it. And it tastes so good. And I don't care if the little boys just sneezed on it. Because it's under the heat lamp, right? And then it kills. It kills everything under the heat lamp. Okay. I'm just playing about that. I don't know if it kills everything. I want somebody to do it. And say, hey, the guy on the podcast said it kills everything. Let's go get it. No, I'm not a doctor. Not a doctor. You better ask your doctor about your buffet experiences. And I didn't see a little boy sneezing in the buffet either. I'm sure it happens. I just didn't see it. Let me make all those disclosures out. 2026. People think I'm giving irrational advices. So yeah, that's pretty much it. That is just like a different perspective on the old kind of. It's so hard to say goodbye to your old self, right? Okay. Well, until next week, you have a beautiful weekend. And remember, if you wake up, you have a purpose. And even if that's sneaking you a Chinese buffet or two. Bye.